Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty amazing, a completely counterintuitive but absolutely brilliant blueprint for grassroots business growth. If you've ever felt kind of stuck, wondering how to build a business from absolute scratch, well, you're exactly where you need to be. We're going to unpack this highly specific strategy that literally transforms a tiny amount of capital into a priceless education. So let's jump right in. We're going to ground our entire discussion today in a super realistic, low barrier entry point. I mean, we aren't talking about going out and securing millions from venture capitalists. No, we're talking about a starting investment of just 10,000 to 20,000 taka. To put that into perspective, that's roughly $100 US. For anyone looking to start out, this is a highly accessible amount. But here's the thing. The real magic isn't in the money itself. It's in exactly what you're going to do with it.
Section 1, the 10,000 taka challenge. It's all about earning to learn.
To tackle this challenge, I really need you to shift your mindset right now. This isn't about what you earn, but what you learn. We're taking that money and using it as a key to unlock a world you probably walk past every single day without even noticing. The source material lays out the exact physical actions to start this journey, and it's wonderfully simple. Step 1, literally take your money in hand. Step 2, physically travel down to the wholesale market in your area, or maybe the capital city's main market. And step 3, use that cash to buy a small batch of something really unique. The source actually gives a great example here, unique children's toys. Remember, you aren't buying a whole warehouse full of stuff, you're just picking up a small, manageable quantity. Okay, I actually need to subvert your expectations right now. Here's the absolute crucial point. You will not make a huge financial profit off this tiny investment. If you're going in expecting to double your money overnight, yeah, you're missing the point entirely. You're not buying this inventory to get rich quick. Actually, think of it like this. You're basically paying the admission fee for a gritty, street-level business school. Which brings us to Section 2, the wholesale market classroom. Think of it as a living ecosystem. When you step into this chaotic environment, you're not just a shopper anymore. You are a student gathering incredible data. By going back to the market over and over again, you really start to crack the code of these massive systems. You learn exactly who the large buyers are and, the psychology behind why they buy. You map out the geography, discovering which specific districts certain products are being shipped to. And most importantly, you start to see the true margins. You begin to understand exactly how much profit is being made across the whole supply chain. Believe me, that is where your real profit comes from down the line. To truly grasp this, we have to talk about the grassroots level. This is the fundamental ground level of business operations. It's where basic trading, networking, and supply chains actually originate. The source makes a super firm point here. If you truly want to become a big player later on, you absolutely must rise up from this grassroots level. If you skip this step, even if you invest massive amounts of money later, you won't fundamentally understand how the foundation of trade actually works. And this perfectly captures the kind of passive education you're getting. The source notes, when you roam the wholesale market, you will see many different products. That's a huge body of knowledge. Just think about that for a second. Even if your initial cash was only meant for children's toys, just by walking the aisles, you're exposing yourself to literally thousands of other products. You're observing market trends, packaging styles, and consumer demands just by keeping your eyes open. It's a massive, necessary body of knowledge that, let's be honest, you simply cannot get from reading a textbook. Moving on to Section 3, the art of business communication. The real art of trading. Because, it's not just about products and margins. It's really about human psychology. At its core, business is just people interacting with people. But there's a stark contrast between everyday communication and business communication. We all know how to have friendly, casual chats in our daily lives. Trading, though. Trading requires a completely different understanding of people. Business communication is highly specialized. It's focused entirely on the mechanics of buying and selling, and, crucially, negotiating in a way where you make sure you protect your own interests. And hey, let's be totally honest about the reality here. At first, things are going to seem really strange. The source explicitly warns that you might even get cheated in some places early on. Why? Well, simply because you aren't familiar with that aggressive style of communication yet. But here is the absolute beauty of it. By showing up, by taking your lumps and learning, you eventually build a community. You integrate into this tight network of buyers and sellers that absolutely cannot be built sitting at a desk. You've got to be right there in the trenches. Section 4. Investing in your skills, making that digital transition. So we've talked a lot about street-level lessons, but as we transition into the digital era, the absolute best investment you will ever make is in yourself. The source points out this fascinating reality of the modern internet. Sure, you could go out and buy a pricey course, but you can also achieve mastery by investing your time instead of your money. You can learn almost entirely for free. The author of our source actually notes they never bought a single course, not one. They gained all their knowledge by digging deep into YouTube, running intensive Google searches, and scouring online forums. And this strategy, it's incredibly vital if you fall into a specific demographic. If you're under 30, if you're a student, or really just a young adult looking to build a rock-solid foundation for your life, this is your playbook. You have the time to invest, and learning an in-demand online skill is literally the single greatest lever you can pull for your future. So, what kind of skills are we actually talking about here? The source highlights some highly practical, in-demand digital skills. We're talking about things like making YouTube videos, programming and building digital apps, or even taking that supply chain knowledge you picked up at the wholesale market and using it to sell products online. Mastering these specific skills allows you to take raw knowledge and convert it directly into real money. Section 5, the money-making machine. This is your ultimate transformation. I absolutely love this quote from the source. Listen to this. Once your knowledge is complete, your brain becomes full of know-how. That brain is no longer just a brain, it becomes a money-making machine. I mean, think about how powerful that is. By combining that gritty, real-world understanding from the wholesale market with the limitless scale of digital skills, you fundamentally transform your own value. Your mind literally becomes an invaluable asset that generates wealth on demand. However, as we start wrapping up this explainer, there's this lingering mystery we really need to address. The source touches on a pretty painful reality for a lot of people. Even when you acquire these skills, and even when you successfully start earning money, somehow it all just slips through your fingers. It all gets spent, and at the end of the month, nothing remains in hand. So I want to leave you with this provocative final thought from our source material to ponder as you kick off your own grassroots journey. If you have the skills to generate cash, why exactly does your money continually run out? And more importantly, once you finally figure out how to stop that leak, what must you actually do with that money to cross the bridge from simply earning an income to truly becoming wealthy? That is the ultimate puzzle you're going to need to solve next. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and keep learning.